Alrighty, guys. Good morning. It's Dave Santarelli from BreakingChartAlerts.com and Santarelli Trading Exchange. So, guys, I wanted to go over first some things on our watch list here and some positions that we have. So we have some TLT calls going out to that July 16th monthly expo and the August 20th expo there. As you guys can see on a TLT 3-month daily chart here, we're continuing to get that nice breakout here. We've been coming down to that blue 20-day simple moving average on the major pullbacks here, back down to support, getting a climb off that. Now what I'm looking for is that break above that 146, and if we take a look at TLT, extend that chart out a little bit more here, you can see it's been falling heavily since, you know, the beginning of the year really, or the end of last year. So I think that's going to have a nice little rebound. I think 155 is going to be a nice target for that August 20th expo. Shorter term here, I think we could see that 150 by that July 16th. So we should have some nice gains on TLT today. As you guys can see, Space Virgin Galactic shares up about 2% here in the pre-market hours. Got opening bell in a few seconds here. We should see a nice open. Remember what I talked about last week. Tech's continuing to climb. Apple's still climbing, breaking above 140. Space, TLT, Apple, we should see some nice green on that here today. Let's see what we do here on opening bell. There was one I wanted to take a look at here. Well, Weibo was climbing here, guys, because there was a rumor of a takeover. Well, about the chairman wanting to take the company private at a much higher price per share, and they came out and said that was false. So I'm expecting Weibo to pull back there. I wouldn't be speculating on Weibo. Got a nice gain on our Apple trade today. Apple's still taking off at the highs of the day already. 140.56, continuing to climb, break higher. We're already up $500 on our Apple trade today, 525 now. We are in the green by $70 for the day there. That's from that Baidu that pulled back a bit, and JP Morgan. We're continuing to climb now, having a nice takeoff here. Apple trade now up $600 for the day. Those July 30th 140 calls, those are looking really good here. Apple's continuing to climb, new highs of the day, 140.76. Square's starting to get a climb here on a 3-month daily. Guys, we got a nice jump here in the accounts. Now those Apple contracts are up $720 here, continuing to break higher, nearing 141 a share. We're up $750 on the July 30th calls here so far. TLT is continuing to break out. That's looking great. Airbnb just turned green for the day. Airbnb is getting a nice little climb there. There she goes, 150.68. That is looking good. Now, see, here's the thing about Airbnb. There we go. We're up over $800 on that Apple call that we picked up. See, this is what I'm talking about with Airbnb. We're at the highs of the day right now. 3-month daily chart, though, we take a look. Notice how if we zoom in here, you guys can see how we're holding that 150 support. We're also holding above that blue 20-day simple moving average. So if we could get a climb up to that 150, 250 today, I'm still going to be very bullish on Airbnb going out to that July 16th expo. We're up $900 right now on the Apple trade already for the July 30th expo. Airbnb is continuing to break out there. She's at the highs of the day. We have the Dow down about 60 points. Nasdaq's up about 48 points for the day. Let's see. Square's continuing to climb. We got a big breakout on Square, guys. Take a look at SQ. Square's getting a big climb on that 3-month daily. Came right down to that 240 support on that big climb it had last week. Past 3 days, it retraced, pulled back. You saw a little bit of profit taking the past 3 days here. Came back down to support of about 240. Now we're climbing off that 10-day simple moving average. We should easily see it climb back up to that resistance right around that 250. So if we see that continued breakout here, we might be jumping into some Square calls for this week's expo. Just keeping an eye on Square there. Our Apple calls are now up $1,000 for the day. Our Baidu trade's down about $1,100 for the day. Airbnb's up about $150 for the day. Space trades up about $100 for the day, and our TLT trades are up about $700 for the day. I'm watching Square over there. Let's see. They're talking about in the trade room AMD, Microsoft. Tech's going to continue to take off, guys. I wanted to actually do a little lesson here with you guys here in a second as well. Microsoft, AMD. All right. I might do that a little bit later. Maybe in the afternoon I'll go over that lesson with you guys. Let's see what PayPal's doing compared to Square there. PayPal's another one getting a climb off that 10-day. You guys could see the clear areas of consolidation here. Consolidation, and it had that big breakout. It got up to that resistance at 275, and then what happened? She pulled back right here. She pulled back down to that 10 before really breaking through that resistance on this candle right here, and then continued that climb. Then she saw a little bit of profit taking down to that 10 again. Now she's ready for that big breakout. Once she breaks above that 295, you know, I could easily see us getting to that 300 to 310 area we were talking about. So I really think we're going to see this continue to climb here. She's holding that 10-day. Now, a confirmation candle off of support is going to be a green candle above the previous candle's body here off of support. So if tomorrow you get a green candle above the previous candle's body, that's confirmation there that we're climbing off support, and we're looking for that new breakout above that resistance at 295. So that might be a really nice little swing trade there as well. Square is still climbing, guys. Take a look at Square breaking out here. Up almost 2% for the day. This one candle right here took it up almost $2. Almost a $2 climb in that one candle right there. Airbnb is still climbing. That's looking good. Apple pulled back a bit from the highs. Good morning, Eddie. Good morning, Roman. There goes Square again taking off here, guys. I think I might want to do another Square trade. We did a nice job selling that Square trade. What day did we sell Square? We sold it right at about the highs there. She pulled back. Now we could be looking for that re-entry. I'm watching Apple over here on the right coming down to that 10. Holding at that 10 right now, right around that 140.50. Square's still continuing to break higher here, guys. There goes Apple now taking off that 10. Square, more new highs there. There goes Apple climbing. Square still climbing there. Apple's climbing. Thinking about doing a PayPal trade here for this week's expo. I think we should easily see that 295, possibly 300 this week. Let's give the market some time here. Adjusting after the holiday weekend. Apple's still continuing to climb off that 10. That's looking like a nice climb off support. Here's Apple on a today 1 minute, came right down to that 10. Starting to climb. I want to see a break above that, you know, 140. We'll say 141.25 there. I think we're going to see that 145 this week on Apple. And the nice thing about Apple, the options are so cheap, we could definitely make some good money. Josh Ellsworth there. I remember you said you couldn't sell Apple when we sold it there because it would have made you a pattern day trader. How's those Apple calls doing this morning? I remember you were up like 170% on those. The picture you sent me. How are they doing today? There goes Square taking off again, guys. Another nice climb on Square. Man, that is hard to pass up. Skyjack said he's back in the green on Square. There goes Apple taking off nicely. Back up 750 on Apple. Airbnb, we're up $400 for on the day. Guys, look at Airbnb climb. Airbnb is definitely breaking out there. Look at those candles on Airbnb. There we go. We're up 400 bucks on the day on Airbnb. Love to see that continue to climb there. There goes Apple again. Back up almost 900 for the day on Apple. Apple still climbing there. One more candle to take out there from that 932 to reach new highs of the day. Square's still continuing to climb. Skyjack, what expo do you have on Square? There goes Apple breaking out, almost up $1,000 for the day on Apple. TLT is still taking off. Let's take a look at TLT. Let's see. Josh says he's up 92%. Is that on the second trade, Josh, or is that the first one? Take a look at Apple still breaking out. Let's take a look at TLT. TLT is consolidating right around that 145.90. There goes Apple. New highs of the day on Apple, guys. Apple trades up 1,100 bucks for the day. I think we're going to see Apple take out that 145. Nice continued breakout on Apple. Watching Airbnb here as well. She's starting to break above that 150, 150. What are we up percentage-wise on that Apple trade now? Look at that breakout on Apple again. Up $1,200 now for the day on Apple. Still climbing. $1,300 gain on the Apple trade now. We got a 22% gain on Apple right now. 23% gain. Up $1,300 for the day. They're talking about Apple now on CNBC. Nice. Up 1,400 bucks now on Apple. Skyjack's got the July 16th on Square. Eddie, Apple looking good, up 1,237 bucks from the calls on Friday. Nice job, Eddie. Eddie, did you get the same amount of contracts as me as well? There we go. We're up 1,500 bucks now on the Apple trade. Got a 26% gain. They're saying Apple's still trailing the broader market here, which is good for Apple shares.
Shares of Up FinTech are dropping into the lows of 21.82. TIGR.
Apple up a little over 1% on the day. See what it does at that 140, 150.
BSGM, BioSig Technologies, in an 8K filing, says receive new purchase order from Mayo Foundation for Medical Education and Research. Commence evaluation of Pure EP system in April. That's Bravo Sandy Golf Michael. That's from an 8K filing from the company. The SGM shares spiking to $4.43. That's BSGM shares up about 6% now. Bravo Sandy Golf Michael. That's from an 8K filing.
Let's see if she could break that 140, 150. Let's see. I'm going to take in some profits here on these Apple calls right now. There we go. I'm out of Apple. Let's see. I wanted to lock in those gains because the market is pulling back a little bit here. Let's see. We are filled at $458 a contract. $458 was our fill price on Apple. Ephraim will let us know what type of gain we had on that shortly. Let's see. I'm going to take a screenshot of the execution here. Send it to you guys.
Services PMI for June 64.6 versus previous 64.8. Composite PMI 63.7 versus 63.9 estimate.
There we go. There goes Apple running again.
Coming up at 10, the ECB employment.
We had what, like a $1,200 gain on that, so I had to lock that in.
PMI for June.
We might do something now shorter term. We locked in that July 30th. Now we might get something for this week's expo. Look at that breakout on Apple. $23% gain on Apple. That's not bad for, basically a one-day trade. We made that on Friday. Look at Apple still breaking out. 142.
Biomedical. 692 at the high of 28%. Charlie Lima, Sandy Delta.
All right, there we go. Just closed out of that Apple trade. There was the execution of those 15 contracts that we got on Friday. We're out at 458. And we were out of that at the 945 candle there. Closed the Apple trade, a quick 23% gain. We got into that trade on Friday. So that's not too bad there. If I held on for literally 3 more minutes there, we'd probably be up another 15%. What are they going for now? The 730s. What do we have? 140s. They're going for about $5 now. So we would have captured another 42 cents or $42 per contract. 42 times 15 contracts. That would have been another $630 if we held on to that for 3 more minutes. Guys, TLT is really taking off here. Take a look at TLT. That's finally breaking through the resistance from earlier there, starting to get that continued climb. I want to see it break that 146. Our target on that's going to be that 150. That's where I want to start looking to start to lock in some profits there. Apple's still breaking out. There goes Apple. Airbnb getting a little pop. She might really get to that 145 this week. Let's take a look at Apple, see if we can pick something up this week. I mean, they're so cheap, these options here. I mean, look at that 142 strike, only going for about $1.37. The 143, you know, if she gets to 145 this week, that's going to make over 100% gain. And they're really cheap there for those 143s. So I'm going to pick up I'll pick up 10 of them. That's going to be about a $1,000 trade. And that's more than I just made on those calls that we just locked in on Apple. So I'm going to pick up a July 9th. I'm going to pick up those 142s or the 143s we were talking about there. They're going for about 98 cents there. 10 contracts, that's going to be about $980. Now she just jumped up to $1.05 there. I mean, that's how insane she's taken off. So I'll just get another couple contracts, 10 contracts here at about $1.04. See if she executes there. There we go. We're in that now with a weekly expo. So guys, this is what's important about trading. You saw that we just locked in those profits on that first, well, actually it was like our 4th Apple trade at 9:45 this morning. Now we had about a $1,300 gain on that trade there from that Apple trade. So we took $1,000 of that $1,300 profit that we just locked in, and we're using those profits to fuel that shorter term Apple trade since we see it breaking that 142. And we're already up nicely on that trade, already 2% gain, 3% gain now. But, you know, if we hit that 145, we're going to have over 100% gain, which is going to be another, you know, $1,200 on top of that. So there's about $2,500 locked in and that we could be locking in on this week's Apple trade here. So, you know, there's about $2,500, you know, for the week just on Apple alone there with that nice setup, locking in profits. We're up 5% on that Apple trade now, 6%, 7%, 8% gain on Apple now, those new contracts. They're going for $1.13. We got in for $1. Let me see what we got in for. Order status.
Shares of Xerox spiking here.
We got in for $1.04. So there it is right there, $1.04 entry. Let me post that there. We're going to be targeting that 145 on this next Apple trade. There we go, execution at 9:50. Wow, we got a 15% gain already on those Apple calls, those new ones, shorter term. I already got about a $200 profit on that. All right, so here is that new Apple trade that we're targeting. That wow, we're up 25% on that new Apple trade already, guys. 25% gain, 27% gain on the new Apple trade. Can't even find the trade room here. Oh, I had it down here. So there's the new Apple trade. I just posted that down here. Let's see. Skyjack's up 80% on Apple. I'm sure he's up much more than that now. I got a 30% gain on those new Apple calls. Jacked out. He said already up 20% on the new Apple trade. Couldn't type fast enough. Nice, guys. So there's our new entry on the weekly Apple calls. I really think we're going to see that 145 easily. So once we get to that 145, we're going to have over 100% return on that. What is it? The 5th Apple trade that we've been in. So that's looking good there. That's continuing to climb. I like that setup. TLT is taking off like fire here. Take a look at TLT. TLT broke that 146.20 here just last minute. 3-month daily chart on TLT. I mean, that's a heck of a breakout there. And we're finally breaking that resistance from that candle going back to June 18th. So I think that 147.50, 150 is going to be a nice target. Possibly even this week's expo here if we see that 147.50, possibly that 150 by next week. Apple pulled back quite a bit there. Airbnb is now starting to climb. Airbnb on a today 1 minute, starting to climb above that 10. Apple pulling back down to about that 10 it looks like it's going to do. JP Morgan's holding above that blue 20-day simple moving average on a today 1 minute chart. How many of you guys are in the TLT July 16th 145 calls? Because I'm debating what I wanted to do with that. Let's see. Robert says I am. James says he bowed out. Skyjack's in TLT. Eddie's in TLT. Are you in the July 16th or that secondary one we got for the August 20th Expo? Both, okay. So we're only down about 18% on that July 16th. I'm watching that closely because obviously if we have another day like today, that July 16th is going to be in the green. We'll have a profit on that. And we've been waiting a little bit there to get some profits on those TLT trades. So I'm debating, you know, now we're only down about 17% on that trade. I'm debating, do I want to close that out there or do I want to hold on to it? That's what's going through my mind because, you know, you got to be asking yourself, do you have 30 days or longer until Expo? That July 16th is going to be expiring in a week and a half there, so you got to decide what you want to do with that. Today alone, we're up about $1,200 today on the 2 TLT trades. But, you know, I'd like to see a little bit quicker of a climb on a TLT daily. Starting to break out again. That's looking pretty good. Up about $1,300 now for the day on the 2 TLT trades, which is nice. You know, if we get to that 147.50, I mean, we're definitely going to have some nice profits on both of those TLT trades. That's exactly what I'm down, 18.23% on the TLT trade. That's what I mean, Skyjack. I'm kind of asking myself, do I want to risk holding that closer and closer to Expo date and possibly having a pullback on TLT there, resulting in a larger loss on TLT? Or do I want to lock it in now while I'm only down 17% on the trade and, you know, just call that one a loss and move on to the next one? Because I really wanted to have that larger breakout than what I was expecting here. I mean, it's getting it today for sure. If that lasts, there we go. Apple's taking off again off that 10. And that's what I mean about patience and discipline following that trade plan. Take a look at Apple here on a today 1 minute. came right down to that 10 as it's been doing the entire day so far. Came down to that 10, breaking higher. Now, if she could break above that resistance there, we could possibly see Apple at, 145 today, possibly, if we continue this run going here. I mean, NASDAQ's only up 5 points. Dow's down about 130, but you're seeing what's taking off here. And what's really important, guys, I actually wanted to do a little lesson with you guys on this, is, let me do it now. Might as well. I'm watching JP Morgan over to the right. I'm watching Airbnb as well.
Coming up, the CB Employment Trends Index for June and ISM non-manufacturing.
Alrighty, guys. So quickly, I want to go over this. Here is the 6 business cycles of our economy, right? And I want to share this with you guys because what's important about this is there's something called sector rotation. And, this is really important because during each of these different business cycles, there's different sectors that are going to be doing well compared to others here. So what I want to go over first with you guys is we have 6 business cycles of the economy. I'm watching Apple continuing to break higher here over to the right. It's looking great. So expansion to peak, that's 1 cycle. Okay? Peak to recession, that's 2. Recession to depression, that is 3. Depression to trough, that's 4. To recovery, 5. And back up to expansion to complete a whole cycle there, that is 6. So we have 6 cycles from expansion to peak, from peak to recession. You guys saw what happened in 2008. That was from peak to recession. Now, what was worrisome going back to those is here's in the background here. Let me get that off of there for you guys. So right here, as you guys can see, we had the CPI. This is the Consumer Price Index, or otherwise known as inflation. You guys can see right here, back in 2007, 2008, our CPI was, let's see here, it was up about, I have this set on something else. There was a different chart I had yesterday, but here is the CPI over the past 20 years. And we had a big CPI there. I have energy. Let me just put all items here. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So we were up about, 5.7% there, back right before that 2008 collapse. And look at the spike here, just going from February until now here on the CPI. This is inflation. So what you have to watch with this, let me get this back over here. So what you have to watch here with these business cycles is, let me share with you now what's really important. So here is a nice, great little thing I made up here. Apple, new highs of the day on that candle. So guys, in the early cycle phase, this is when the economy is coming off a recession. So this is a perfect example, 2009. Back in 2009, that's when we're entering back into the expansion phase of the economy. So what you want to be looking at, the best sectors during this phase include consumer cyclicals, financials, and then bonds. Mid-cycle phase here, which we're in right now between the mid and late cycle phase. I'm saying we're in the later mid-cycle phase here because look at what's happening here. First off, what's going on? Industrials and technology are leading the markets with basic materials. Interest rates are moderating and perhaps starting to rise as the Fed tries to fight off inflation. Now, you guys saw what I just showed you on this chart here. Here is inflation. We are getting a big rise. So now the Fed Reserve is becoming a little bit hawkish here on interest rates. They want to raise some interest rates on 2023. Now, once they start to continue to raise interest rates, that's when you're going to start to see that peak of the economy. So what I'm trying to say here is I still think we have some time before we see that peak of the economy, because everyone right now is wondering, are we at the peak? Let me bring this up here. Are we at the peak right now and starting to go into that recession, or are we still in expansion and heading towards that peak? And I bring this up because it's really important here. I still think we're in the expansion, and it's going to last to that peak for about another 2 years, because we're coming off of the pandemic right now. Everything's opening up. I don't know how you guys saw 4th of July, but I mean, everything is packed. You know, I mean, even car rentals. You guys saw on NBC Nightly News, car rental prices have more than doubled in the past year, and everything's continuing to raise here. So, you know, especially now, you see cars. There's a big shortage on cars. You know, during the pandemic, there goes Apple taking off again. During the pandemic, you know, they stopped mining for the materials that you use to make the cars. So, you know, when we were shut down, there were still some cars being bought. Now the pandemic's over, you got this high amount of people that want the demand there for those cars, but the demand is there, but the actual product is not. There goes Apple again. We're already up 26% there on that new Apple trade. Wow, guys, that TLT space is taking off nicely. Got a nice run there. Really nice run. So going back to this now, you know, so I think we're in the mid-cycle phase here of the economy. And, you know, once you get into that late phase, what's the best sectors to be in? And that's energy, utilities, healthcare. So what's really important then is how we're able to stay on top of the market. Is not only are we looking at, let me get something up here. So here's a great little chart here. So the past month, you can see technology sector has been the best performing sector that we've seen. So that's why we're still trading the tech stocks. I mean, look at our Apple trade now. We're up 35% on that Apple trade. She's still breaking out. There goes Airbnb. Our Apple trade's now up 36%, continuing to climb there. And our Airbnb is taking off nicely. And we have our TLT trades that are up almost $2,000 combined for the day there. Skyjack, I'm only down 4% now on that TLT trade. But getting back to this, guys, so what's really important is if you guys understand the cycles of the economy, the business cycles of the economy, can look at these sectors, the outperforming sectors, and take a look at what's going on and what cycles we're in with the economy. You know, going back here, the business cycles and sectors of the economy right here, you can see, you know, mid-cycle, the best stocks, the best sectors are going to be your industrials, technology, basic materials, and then the late phase, you're going to see the utilities, healthcare, and consumer staples. So when you start to see that sector rotation going into healthcare, energy, and some of the other ones there, and when you start to see those climb and becoming the top performing sectors, that's when you can start to say, okay, there might be a sector rotation coming on there, and that's time to switch from those tech stocks back to, guys, we're now green on the damn TLT trade. There we go. We got a profit on that TLT trade. That is nice. Big gains here today already. Continuing to break out. Guys, so we're up $2,300 on the TLT trades today. We're up 5% overall on the TLT. There she goes, 7% gain on TLT. I'm going to close out that TLT right now for that July 16th expo, just because it's really short term there, and I want to close that out before. Let's see if I could get about 242 for it. She's at 240. Let's see. I want to try to get 242. It seems like a nice number there. All right, I got that order in at 242. Apple's still taking off, looking good there. Struggling at that 143. So now what you're asking yourself is that 143, is that going to be resistance on the day here for Apple? So it's really important to watch that, because if not, we could lock in that profit for this week's expo already and lock in that 20% gain. Let's see what Space is doing. We got a nice gain on our Space trade here. Space 48.15, up 7% here. Guys, Branson's going into space. You know, so I think we're going to continue to see that pop and reach that $60 again really quick. So I want to keep an eye on that. I think space is going to break out nicely off that 45 and off that 10-day simple moving average. So I definitely want to keep an eye on space. Look at Square since we've been talking about that this morning. Square took off beautifully there. Square nearing 250. 250 is going to be right where that resistance is on Square. So we'll see if we could break through that resistance there. Okay, I'm going to cancel that TLT order to sell. I don't like keeping my orders open because if the market makers see those open orders there, you know, they're going to drive down that stock. There's no question about it. So I canceled that TLT sell. There we go. And now TLT's climbing again. Airbnb is taking off nicely. Take a look at Airbnb. So guys, getting back to what I was talking about before here is, let me get back to this because that's really important for you guys to understand. So if you guys see this business cycle here, right now we're still in the expansion phase going to the peak. And if you guys could see, we actually have, this is what I love, this is what I was up doing all night last night. We're currently in the longest expansion phase of the economy since the beginning of recorded history for the market here. You know, going back to 1854. Now this is going to June 8th, and it's now July 8th almost. So we've been in the expansion phase for 129 months in the expansion phase, which is the longest in the history of the U.S. business cycles dating back to 1854. So we're currently in the longest expansion phase of the economy, which you have to ask yourself then, you know, once we're done at that expansion phase, we come to the peak. When we're at the peak of that economic cycle here, this is when we're going to start looking at that's when we're going to start looking at those utilities, healthcare, consumer staples. Consumer staples are obviously your everyday products. You know, for women, it's their makeup. They need their makeup every day. Johnson & Johnson healthcare products. You know, your Clorox, your food and beverage. You know, those type of stuff. So those are your consumer staples. So the things that you need on a daily basis, that's when they start to climb there, and that's when we get to the peak of the economy. Because think about it, when interest rates start to climb, and you know gas prices obviously are continuing to climb there, what's going to happen? You know, people, they might cut their spending on going out to eat, they might cut their spending on some other things, but they're still going to need those necessities every day. So that's why when you're at the peak of that economic cycle, that's why you got to really transition and look for that sector rotation from technology going into those consumer staples, healthcare, and utilities. That's what's really important, and you got to keep an eye on that. Skyjack, I know you're good at that. So when you start to see that sector rotation going from industrials and technology into utilities, healthcare, and consumer staples and energy, that's when we want to start saying, okay, now it's time to either A, we're done. There goes TLT again. We got another nice climb on TLT. She's breaking out nicely. Our Apple trades up 25%. So again, you know, like when we're in that late stage at that peak there and we start to see that sector rotation, that's where you got to say, okay, I just made a ton of money on Apple, because take a look. What did we do last week? I mean, literally, guys, look at this week that we had. We had a week last week. We made $11,793. And I'm going through this economic cycle here with you guys because I want this to be a learning and educational session here as well. Look at the type of stocks that we were trading over the past week. Apple, AMD, Baidu, Facebook, you know, Microsoft. Those are the tech stocks. So the tech stocks have been taking off nicely. We made 105% gain on the AMD trade, one of them. Another 27% gain on that AMD vertical spread, 40% gain on Apple. You know, look at those big gains that we had that led up to that $11,793 profit last week. That was fueled by the tech stocks. Now take a look at this and take a look at what's going on. Now, those tech stocks Take a look at QQQ here. So QQQ is at new all-time highs here. We go out, QQQ is at new all-time highs. Now, what's in QQQ? Obviously, this is an ETF, right? QQQ here, as you guys can see, the top 10 holdings here: Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, Facebook, Google, Nvidia, PayPal, Intel. Now, I want you to think about this. I've been trading full time for over a decade. So think about this. If QQQ is at new all-time highs here, well, guess what? We could cherry pick options here during the expansion phase of this economic cycle and continue to take profits as long as we continue that expansion phase. Like I said, I don't see anything dying down just yet. I think we still got another year or two to go before we start to see that retracement. Everything's still taking off. Companies, this is the nice thing about it. If we didn't have COVID, the nice thing about COVID is all these companies, they came in and they adjusted their earnings for the next few quarters and for the year. So they lowered their estimates on earnings for the next few quarters here and the rest of the year. So now that we have the opening and we see a strong comeback in the economy here, you got to think about it. So if they lowered their expectations for quarterly earnings reports going forward for the rest of 2021, and we start beating on earnings now, which is coming up in a couple of weeks, what do you think is going to happen? We're going to continue to see tech take off there because they lowered their expectations during COVID. So if we're now beating those expectations, there's going to be a lot of greed in the market saying, hey, we're coming back and we're continuing to break higher there. And you're going to get a lot of people. Man, that TLT is still climbing there, up about $2,400 on those two TLT trades. But as you're coming back here, you could take advantage of a bunch of these tech stocks, individually trading them, getting them up to that resistance, waiting till they come back down to, support there, buying off support there, and then, holding it back up to resistance for that profit target area. So that's really nice there, and that's why you see Q's taking off. So, when you see we have that $11,000 week here, what fueled that? What fueled that? That was one day there, 7272. Let me see, where's the other one? So here was for the entire week. How do we make that $11,793 profit? And that, again, was from trading those tech stocks. So with options, you're so much more leverage. We're able to make 105% gain on an AMD trade that's basically overnight there that we made, turning $2,300 into $4,600. Now I'm going to start becoming a little bit more aggressive. There goes Airbnb taking off again. A nice move on Airbnb. We got another nice climb on TLT. Let's see if I could get rid of that for about 2.45. If I could, I'll sell it. Let's see if I could get it for about 242 now for it. That'll leave me with a profit. There we go. I'm out of TLT July Expo at 242, guys. We sold that for a profit. Remember, we were just talking about being down 20% on that Skyjack? I just sold that TLT for a profit. That's what I mean about patience, discipline, and understanding why we have expirations going out as far as we have and why we get the shorter term expos. The shorter term expos like we have on Apple now, utilizing those first few profits on those Apple trades. That's a beautiful setup now going into this week's expo with Apple targeting that 145 target. All right, here is that TLT trade that we just closed out. Alrighty, there we go. Wow, we are near new all-time highs in the account here, guys. Very, very close. My mother's messaging me on Facebook here asking me if I'm in the path of Elsa. That's funny. How mamas worry about their kids. TLT closed. All right, so here's the TLT closed. 5% gain on that trade. Hey, that's nice because remember we were down 50% on that trade. So a gain is a gain. So here you go, guys. Close that out for a 5% gain, which is nice. I wanted to close that out for a gain. Now we have the longer term TLT, the August 20th 150s. We're up $1,400 on the day on that trade. So that's continuing to climb there. I want to see that break out. Our space trade is looking great. We're up $500 on space today. There goes Airbnb taking off nicely. Airbnb is looking ready for a nice climb, getting up to that 152. If she can break that 152, there's still a good chance we're going to hit that 160 by our expiration date. If you guys are enjoying this on YouTube, please give it a like, share it on social media for us. Yeah, it really feels great to be back, feeling great, and doing these videos.
Bloomberg reporting explosion at Iran's Cheshma oil field.
Guys, there's an explosion in an oil field in Iran, or Iraq, he said. Bloomberg's just reporting this right now. So you know what that means on gas prices, oil prices. You're going to see that ExxonMobil, Chevron start to climb here. Take a look at XOM. There's breaking news about a explosion at an oil field in Iraq. I think you're going to see oil pop once that news gets distributed here to mainstream media. Let's see what space is doing while we're watching this. Space was just at the highs of the day, the last candle, 48.50.
CBLI Cleveland Biolab shares off the highs now, 672, up 15%. The company to hold an investor call on Wednesday, tomorrow, to discuss the results of the merger transaction. That CBLI shares moving here on heavy volume now, up 15.5%. That's Charlie Bravo remaining.
I'm looking at the, oh, we're having a heck of a day, guys. I'm looking at the newswire here, seeing if there's anything good. Snap, they're picking up, there's unusual option activity. August 13th, 75 strike call sweeps coming in. Let's see, Karen says, what's up with Amazon? What's going on with Apple's taking off? There goes Airbnb. We got a big climb coming here again. Another nice climb here, guys. Wow. Let's see what's going on with Amazon. Amazon's up 3% today. That's a hell of a climb there. Airbnb getting right up to that 152. There she goes. Airbnb just broke 152. We're up $500 on the day now on Airbnb on that breakout. Guys, see, what's important here is focusing in on your trades now. You know, focus in on those shorter term trades and decide what you're going to do. We got a nice gain on Apple. We're back up 15% on the Apple calls. TLT, we got a $1,300 gain on that August 20th 150 call today. We got about a $500 gain on space. Now, Airbnb getting right up to that 152. You know, I mean, if we could get up to 155 today on Airbnb, That is going to be very promising for the rest of the week here. There goes Apple taking off again. Another climb on Apple. We're up 20% now on the Apple calls. There goes Airbnb breaking that 152 resistance, 152.16 on Airbnb. Today, 1 minute chart. Here you go on Airbnb. There she goes again, 152.09. How are you guys doing on these trades? Have you guys been locking in some profits along the way? Guys on Zoom? Guys in the trade room? Robert's doing well. His account's doing great. Nice to hear that, Robert. James is doing great. Skyjack's doing well. Nice job, Jack. Sold Apple at high, then just re-entered. That is a nice job there, guys. JP Morgan is getting such a hit today. That's the only thing I'm watching over here that we got to... I'm down about $937.50 on JP Morgan today. There goes Airbnb taking off again. Yeah, now I'm just holding on to that August 20th TLT. That was nice, Skyjack. We locked in. Remember, we were just talking about that. We were down totally about 50% on that trade, and that came back nicely the past 2 days, leading to a profit of 5%. So going from down about 50% to a gain of 5%. You can't pass up that opportunity to lock in those profits there. Patience is key. I sold some trades a little bit early last week, but I was going through some things I had to do throughout the day there, so I locked in profits a little early. Still had $11,000 week. You can't be ashamed of that, but it should have been a $20,000-$25,000 week in my opinion. I'm watching Airbnb still holding above that 152.06 there. I'm watching Apple here. That's consolidating a bit. Airbnb still on the climb there. 152.11. 152.18. We're up $600 for the day on Airbnb now. It's just so nice locking in profits on different trades in different sectors as we're going along here. Nice breakout on Airbnb. 152. What was that? 152.33. $600 gain on the day on Airbnb. Apple's up about 8%. There goes Airbnb again. Another nice breakout there. Got about 76,000 on the sideline here, so I'm going to start deploying capital again soon. I'm just thinking about that sector rotation that we were just going over out of the business cycles of the economy here, and debating if I want to jump into technology or if I wanted to look at something a little bit safer like an energy or healthcare stock. Maybe something with a few months out on that. So with these 6 screens, it's so hard to see that screen over there. I got to bring that over here. Let's see, Karen, are you trading from an island today? I think Karen's off the island today. Karen, you're over there in the path of the storm. I hope you're staying safe. There goes that Apple trade, back up 15% now. Treasure Island, that sounds fun. 17% gain, 18% gain on Apple now. There goes Airbnb, 152.50 she's getting up to. Guys, there goes Apple breaking out nicely. 19% gain on Apple, 20% gain on Apple. Microsoft high of the day, Skyjack saying there. 20% gain on Apple. Let's take a look at Microsoft. Microsoft's got some room to run, I think. She's nearing 280. She's going to get up to $300. I think we're going to see another nice breakout on Microsoft up to that $300 from now till the end of the summertime here. Airbnb, 152.44. Quantum, there's some really good vertical spreads I'm thinking about doing this week as a paycheck trade. Guys, we're up 23% now on Apple. There goes Apple taking off again nicely. Microsoft at the highs of the day. Airbnb at the highs of the day. 152.46 on Airbnb. Take a look at Airbnb. Airbnb at a today 1 minute. I mean, that's looking beautiful there. More new highs of the day on Airbnb. She's taking off nicely, getting up to almost that 153. We're up $700 for the day on Airbnb. Our Apple trade now up 22% as Apple's continuing to climb off those lows. Came down to about support out that 142.50. Held that support there. Now she's going to take out highs here. If we could break that 143, I still think we could have that 145 on the radar possibly for today. Got a 23% gain, 24% gain on Apple. Airbnb new highs of the day, 152.60. Apple's looking great, guys. I already got a 25% gain on Apple there.
Shares of Candy are spiking here, $6.01 now on Candy, up about 3.5%. Says company to provide retail finance.
Dayron says, Dave, what would you do if you had the AMC $5.50 calls for January? He is up 1,237% on that trade. Great job, Dayron. So what I'd be doing is I'd let AMC run, let it do its thing, and then what I'd be doing is turning those calls into a vertical spread, being that option premium's gone up significantly. You could bring in, like, for example, you have the 550 call on AMC for January, right? So if we take a look at the option chain here for that January Expo, and we take a look at AMC, the IV, the implied volatility, is so high on AMC that you're able to collect a nice premium for turning those calls into a vertical spread. So you have the 550. So, I mean, you are deep in the money on those calls there. So what I'd be looking at here now is maybe selling to open the 100 strike call or the 120. I'd be doing the 120 strike call here. Maybe even the 140, 145. You're going to collect $920 per contract. So how many contracts, James, of that January Expo do you have on AMC? Let me see where the trade room is. How many contracts do you have on that? 5 contracts. So if you have 5 contracts, you could bring in almost $5,000 by selling to open that 145 call. Now think of this. Your max gain is going to be your 5 contracts times, it's going for $930 right now. So 5 times $930, $4,650 you're going to collect from selling someone the right to those calls at 145. So you have the 550. So 145 minus 5.5, that's $139.50 times 100 shares per contract. That's $13,950 max net gain per contract. Times that by 5. So you're going to make $69,750 on the difference between the strike that you bought, where you're selling it at, plus that, what was it, the 930? So I don't have a thing here. I do. Let me write it down. So you're going to make $69,750 from the strike of 550 to 145, plus the premium you collected, 930 times 5 contracts, that's $4,653. So now 4,650 plus 69,750. That's a total net gain there, max net gain of $74,400 net gain. So if you sold to open that 145, and let's say it gets to 145 or higher, you're going to make a net profit on those 5 contracts that you have of $74,400 from now until that January Expo. So that's the beauty of selling to open those covered calls, because if AMC did pull back, you could buy back those 145 calls for less than what you sold them for. So if they get down to $5 a contract and you sold them for $9, the difference between 5 to 9 is that $4, which is $400 per contract. On 5 contracts, that's a $2,000 gain. So if it pulls back there, you could lock in a quick gain by buying back that short leg that you just did, James, from now until January. That's the nice thing about when you get something so much further out on Expo there. You could literally buy back that short leg at any time, lock in that profit, and then create that vertical spread once she climbs off that support area once again. So that's what I would personally be doing. But I'd wait until that run on AMC is over. Let's see what AMC is doing. AMC got up to over $55 before. It's got some support right at around $50. She drops below $50, that's where I'd be selling to open those 145 calls. And if she crosses above that 60, that's where I'd be looking at on further breakout there, possibly getting up to that 70, 75 target. Big pullback there on Apple.
Company has been granted full SPCE approval for GSM, WCDMA, LTE cell phone with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi grants authorized equipment for operation of approved frequencies.
Dow is down 300 points now, guys. Keep that in mind.
That's from the FCC. That's Sammy Oscar, November Michael, Sonim.
Dow is down 303 points. Nasdaq's down about 25 points right now. Let me see what Baidu's doing here. I am not liking that Baidu trade. I'm going to sell Baidu. Here's what we did so far here today, guys. Take a look at that. $1,369.21 in profit so far for the day. That's a really nice gain. Today, we're starting off the week nicely. $1,369.21. That Baidu there. Let's see. Got a nice climb there on Airbnb again, breaking above 152. Look at Airbnb. Look at those 2 candles there coming right off that 150, 175. Another nice continued breakout there. Apple's picking up a bit. That Apple trade was just down 30%. Now it's only down 8%. There goes Airbnb having another nice climb there. Airbnb still on the climb. That coffee is ice cold now. Skyjack said, take a look at space. Wow, look at space breaking out there, guys. Finally getting that run on space. New highs of the day. $500 gain on space so far. I want to see space have another nice breakout there. I mean, to me, honestly, it's a small breakout today. I want to see that really get back up to that $58 to $60 by the end of this week, which I think is going to happen. Let's see, when's Branson flying? July 11th.
ISCE, India Sandy Echo Echo, new street high price target of $16 at Credit Suisse, ISCE.
That's looking great there. She's getting up to almost that $50. Apple still pulled back a little bit there. I'm debating if I want to close up some of these other things here and you know, go with a nice start here going into this week, because we are near new all-time highs on the account. So what I really want to do is focus in on, if we're near the highs, locking in some of these gains or taking some losses here on the ones that are down a little bit. The Space July 9th 57 call we have, I have 5 contracts. That's a very small trade, but that one's down about 70% right now for that July 9th. Now, if we get another breakout on space tomorrow, obviously we're going to have some profits on that. We get about a $10 climb there.
Now about 4.5% on India Sandy Echo Echo.
And what I'm probably going to do, if he's flying July 11th, I'll probably get something for the July 16th Expo as well. Jerry just got to Florida. I hope you're staying safe from Elsa over there.
Shares of NEO, NEO spiking here. November India Oscar 5134 on NEO. XPEV, XPeng also.
I think we're definitely going to see that space, you know, above that 55 by the end of this week. There goes Airbnb taking off again. 152.45 now on Airbnb. I'd love to see another nice climb on Airbnb there. I'd love to see that get up to that 160 this week. And then we could possibly still have that 170 target by next week's monthly expo. See, Skyjack says Neo. Neo's probably going to be... Neo's one, though, that needs some time. You know, you could be trading that up to that 60 to 65 target, but I'd give that at least 3+ months out till Expo. At least 3+ months.
Again, heavy volume now in Iveric with that $16 price target. India Sandy Echo Echo. 868 now, up about almost up 10% now on ISCE.
There goes Airbnb taking off again, guys.
$16.68.
Airbnb new highs of the day. Big break out there on Airbnb. New highs of the day on Airbnb. We're up almost $800 for the day on Airbnb. Bill Davis says DocuSign's taking off or moving there. Let's take a look at Docu. That's having a nice little run there as well. It's definitely getting a nice climb off of support there at that 10-day simple moving average as it's been doing. So that next target there, I mean, she'd be at new all-time highs. So you could be looking at that 300, I'd say. Apple's starting to climb there. Another nice couple candles there on Apple. Apple's getting a nice run there. The thing with DocuSign is it's so darn expensive there, you know? Because when it does have that pullback, it's going to be a larger pullback. Apple trades almost back in the green, only down 2% now on the Apple trade, 1%, 0.5%, and we're in the green on Apple. Airbnb back up to new highs of the day on Airbnb, guys. That is a nice run there. Palantir's up 2.6% today. Take a look at Palantir on it today, 1 minute. That's having a nice little breakout. 3-month daily chart. Pulled back. We took profits on Palantir near those highs. That was nice. That's looking nice for another nice breakout there. I wouldn't mind trading Palantir.
AIZ getting a pop here on some buy-in India Zulu Echo Alpha.
Definitely wouldn't mind getting into a trade on Palantir for probably the August Expo. Let's see Apple now. Let's see if she could break above that 20. Apple's having a heck of a breakout today. Up almost 2% for the day. There goes Airbnb again, 152.65. Airbnb. So I want to look at these shorter term trades. Apple's is going to be that 145 target. Airbnb, because we got a decent sized trade on Airbnb. You know, we got $5,000 in that. So I got to decide what I want to do with Airbnb. And looking at that 3-month daily chart, love how it's holding that 20. I love how it held that 150 support. Now I'm just waiting for that breakout above 155. If we get that tomorrow, I might add, a trade or add average down on the Airbnb calls. There goes Apple breaking out again. There we go, back in the green on the Apple calls. Skyjack, what trade do you have on NEO? Look at that Airbnb breakout. Beautiful breakout on Airbnb. I want to see that continued breakout this week. And with it being the holiday weekend, I think we're going to continue to see Airbnb climb there. $55 calls on NEO. Let's see. If she could break that 55, I mean, it's going to be a nice 60 target, but let's see. July 16th Expo. What'd you pay for those, Skyjack? There goes Airbnb again. Apple calls back in the green. There we go. Got a nice profit now on Apple. TLT starting to climb again. There goes Space taking off. Let's see what the heck Space is doing here. Space is continuing to climb there. New highs of the day on Space. Wow, we got some really nice profits here today. Quantum, I think a lot of the automotives are undervalued right now. Actually, that's something I was going to talk to you guys about too, is about used car sales. Used cars spiked 30% in just 1 year. I remember making a post on Facebook and someone says, "Oh, your car's not worth more than it was last year." I said, "Well, yes, it is," but they had no idea what they were talking about, so I just ignored them. But this is a new thing out from cars.com. Used car prices spiked 30% just in 1 year. Literally, the Porsche I got back in 2018, it's a 2019 Porsche Cayenne. I got that in 2018, the end of the year. It's worth more now than what I paid for it, back in 2018, the end of the year. So it's crazy how much these prices went up. So that's something I was going to show you guys, used car sales. And now what's going on is there's a big shortage of chips. So if you look here, it's saying the top 5 leading automotive chip suppliers. So you guys know if there's a big chip shortage for these auto manufacturers, well, what's going to happen? Texas Instruments, there's a lot, Taiwan Semiconductor, TSM, Texas Instruments, TXN. These are good ones to take advantage of for that short term, I'd say short term, but the next 6 to 12 months out till Expo, getting into some of these chip suppliers. And you got some really nice opportunity with, here's one, Taiwan Semiconductor, ticker symbol TSM. A lot of the members have been trading that over the past year. Where is that other one I was going to show you guys? What else I wanted to show you guys as well. Here's all the major economic reports for the week here. So, obviously it's really important to be watching all this stuff here, and seeing everything as you go along. Where did that just go there? So, obviously, ISM numbers today, they came out actual 60.1, median 63.3. The big one is going to be the job openings tomorrow. They're expecting 9.3 million, and then Thursday the jobless claims. So that's going to be really important, continued claims and whatnot there. So we're going to keep an eye on those. Their median forecast is 350,000. Previously it was 364,000. So if we continue to see a pullback on the jobless claim numbers, that's going to be a really good sign, and we're probably going to continue to head forward this week there. So, make sure you're understanding what's going on with the economy, the business cycles, what's going on as far as the events are concerned with economic reports and everything going on there. Space still holding that, or I'm sorry, Airbnb is holding that 152.50, Apple 142.19. Remember what I talked about here too with the consumer price index inflation. We're seeing a big spike the past few months, really the past, since February there. So we got to watch this because we're getting up to highs back when we had the big financial crisis there. I don't see any crisis happening now yet. Like I said, I still don't see anything happening like that for at least another year or two. But it's something that's concerning when you're seeing inflation climb the way it's climbing here, because obviously if mortgages are going higher and then interest rates start to climb, it's going to be more expensive to get a new house. So then you're going to start to see the housing market pull back a little bit. They're saying they're not going to raise interest rates till 2023. So, that's why I'm saying you got that buffer time between now and then. So that's really good. but keep an eye on everything. This is why it's important to be looking at the sectors, seeing what's going on with the economy. It's going to help guide you to that sector rotation that might be happening soon, and you know, you could really start to profit from you know, utilizing different strategies on different sectors. Or, you know, if you start to pull back from these higher gains, you know, obviously you can make some money on the downside there with buying some puts as it retraces there. So, you know, there's always a way to make money regardless if the stock's going up, down, or staying flat. You know, you could sell some options then if things are pretty flat during the no trade zone or consolidation area of the trade plan. Airbnb 152.50. Apple still pulling back a little bit. JP Morgan still pulling back. We got space and Airbnb still climbing, which is helping us out here. Airbnb is trying to get up to those new highs of the day again. There we go, 152.70 on Airbnb. Skyjack's up 40% on the SPY puts. Nice job, Skyjack. Hey, those of you that are live with us on YouTube, if you guys want to come join us, you guys could go to breakingchartalerts.com. If you are logged out, this is how it's going to look like. If you guys want to come join us, we got a special going on. You guys could go down to membership pricing plans, or you could click the join now. If you click on membership pricing plans, that'll take you to this page here. If you wanted to sign up for Elite Pro Trader, we have promo code challenge for, what is it, 30% off. The yearly membership comes down to like $17.50 for the year. Or you guys could sign up for the Trader, which is the morning session, Pro Trader, morning and afternoon session. Elite Pro Trader, you save money, and you also get some of the advanced classes there. So once you guys sign up, click sign up. You could use promo code challenge. Once you sign in then to your account, it's going to look like this. You're going to have some different tabs available depending on what type of account you just got. And then if you want to go to the education, the trading classes are going to be here. We got a ton of classes here for you guys to look at, from beginner, intermediate to advanced. You know, here's some of the beginner classes here. You guys can start with the bottom one, work your way up, and over. And once you complete that beginner trader, intermediate, and experienced, pro trader classes, which is more on management and portfolio sizing. The live classes here are the ones with Tom. Trade challenge trades right here, and all the trades are right here on Trade Alerts right here. And if you click on that, you guys can see the trades that we just closed out today. The Apple, AMD, and then the trade room right here. If you guys want to go to the trade room, that's where we're going to be from now until the afternoon trading session. So if you guys on YouTube want to come join us, go to breakingchartalerts.com, go to the join now, and click on membership pricing plans, and you guys can pick out what membership's best for you. If you want to go with the Elite Pro Trader, use promo code challenge here. And once you use promo code challenge and click sign up, that's going to bring that price down from $2,500 down to $1,750 for the year there, which is like $140 a month, which you can't beat there. So Apple's starting to climb there. That's looking pretty good. Airbnb still holding that blue 20-day simple moving average on a today 1-minute chart. I want to see that break that consolidation and that high of the day, though, at that 1049 candle. And start to see that breakout there on Airbnb continue. And TLT still on the climb there, back up $1,300 on the day on that TLT August Expo there. She's starting to climb, just got up to new highs of the day at 147 in the last minute here. So that's continuing to look good. Apple's starting to climb now again. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple's starting to climb off that 142, which is nice. If we can break that 142.50 on Apple, I think there's a good chance that we're going to see new highs of the day again on Apple. So that's something to watch and look forward to for the afternoon. I'm going to start looking at some good, I want to find a good paycheck trade for this week. We haven't done one of those in a while, and it seems like the market conditions are ripening and looking good for a paycheck trade here. So I'm going to start looking at one of those for the afternoon session, and really nice job starting off the week here, guys. We locked in some nice profits, $1,369.21 in realized profits today. and we'll look to add to those profits on Space, Apple, and Airbnb as we continue further here into this week. Let's see, the JP Morgan trade. I have that one goes into, does that one go into earnings? Let me see on JP Morgan. JPM. Earnings are on the 13th of July. So we have the July 16th expo. So I definitely want to go into earnings with JP Morgan. I think they're going to do really well, especially with all the housing sales the past quarter and everything. I think their numbers are going to have a big beat. So pull back off that 20-day simple moving average, consolidating between that 10-20 on JP Morgan. We have an event that's coming up, though, that's going to act as that catalyst for us to potentially move higher. So that's what I'm looking with JP Morgan is earnings next week on, what did I say, the 13th or something like that, 14th. So I'm going to continue to hold on to that one. I might add to that one going into earnings if we see that next big green candle coming off support there. So debating what I'm going to do with JP Morgan. Either I'm going to add to that trade or let it go as is. Space, once we start really breaking out there, I'm definitely going to be getting into another space trade for next week's expo. And Airbnb is looking nice there for a climb. Apple pulling back a little bit there. Let's see. Dow's down 371 points. Nasdaq's down about 1 point right now. So account is near new all-time highs here, only a couple $1,000s away from new all-time highs. And I'm looking to break that this week here. So I'm thinking about the strategies I want to utilize for the rest of this week here and take advantage of this climb that we're seeing and seeing what's the best way to move forward here. We have PayPal still continuing to climb. That's up about 1%, which is trailing Square, which is up about 2.6% on the day. So with PayPal being the laggard there, I might jump into a short-term trade for this week's expo on PayPal, look for that quick climb, and take some profits in a day or two. So debating here what I'm going to do for this week, but that's the game plan, and I hope everyone's having a great start to their week. And I hope everyone has a great week here. So great job locking in those profits when we did. Looking for some new trades this afternoon. And if anyone has any questions, we will be live in the trade room from now until the afternoon session around 2:30. Alrighty, guys. Hope everyone has a great day. I will see you guys in the afternoon session, and we'll be in the trade room for now. Take care, guys.